Welcome back to Rebel Ants Radio. This is the official video podcast for the Rebel Ants NFT project. I am joined tonight, as always, by my host, my co-host, my co-pilot, my co-founder, Miguel. Miguel, how are you?
I am good, man. Just looking forward today to chatting with our new guest. Just really want to ask him some questions about Web3 and that kind of stuff. So just looking forward to that. Very excited for today.
Yeah, we've got Carlos Gutierrez joining us. He's all over Twitter. If you're in the NFT space, I'm sure you've seen his tweets. And he's had some really great, relevant experience that'll be cool for us to hear about. And before we get into that, we invite everyone to head over to rebelants.io. This is our website where you can mint an NFT, a Rebel Ant NFT, and you can find links to all of our other socials and all the other things we got going on, videos to our past YouTube shows, as well as some of the clips. And you can go check out some of the jerseys that Miguel has been drawing. We've been dropping almost one new one a day, so check those out. This project is like the Build in Public NFT project, where we are trying to teach people how to launch an NFT project by showing our successes and failures, and invite you to join along for that. So if you're into that kind of content, we ask you to hit the like and subscribe button below. Follow us on Twitter at Rebel Ants. And we'd love to have you come along for the journey. We do have Carlos joining us in just a few minutes, but we also have some other really exciting upcoming guests later this month and next month. Or I guess just this month for February we've got scheduled. We've got Ryan Maloney, who's an amazing artist. He does a lot of YouTube videos. He's got like 17,000 subscribers. So that'll be a big opportunity for us to kind of pick his brain about art, NFT space. And Miguel, I know you're a fan of his, so you'll get to nerd out with him for about an hour. And then later in the month of February, we'll also have Plum Inferno joining us, who's like a Web3 security expert who I heard on another podcast, the NFT Catcher podcast. So it'll be really cool to pick her brain as well, and hopefully share some good strategies for all of you on how to play safe in this crazy wild, wild west that we have going on here. Miguel, what did I miss? What have we been up to this week? We had an in-person sesh, right? We brainstormed for
we had an in-person meeting. Yeah, we brainstormed about utility, and we came up with a really good plan. I think it's very good. We just gotta take some time to get it done. But I think that our plan I think people will really like it and they'll enjoy it. I don't know if you want to talk about the whole plan yet. Do you?
Maybe a little bit. I want to talk about it with Carlos, because I know that he's got some very strong opinions about people just using the word utility or community. So I want to get his thoughts on all of that and loop him into the conversation as well. But I feel like for you and I who don't have a technical background, I think this will be a cool opportunity for us to do something hopefully unique-ish for an NFT project. And I think we'll have fun along the way, and we'll learn a lot as well. So it'll be good either way.
Yeah. And as far as our guest, I'm really excited to talk to Ryan. He's been in the industry for a very long time. He has books. He has like NFTs. He's been doing art, for a very long time. And with Plum, I'm super excited too. She's very good at security, especially when it comes to Discord and all that kind of stuff. She's very knowledgeable. So I'm looking forward to those two guests coming in and talking to us about what they know and their histories.
Yeah. It's going to be great. It's going to be a good month for us, and we've got a lot to learn from them and a lot to share with our community. And we have 8 people watching right now, so thank you for being here with us. Feel free to drop a comment wherever you're watching. Let us know where you're joining from, so we can let you know how much better New Jersey is than wherever you're joining us from, except maybe Carlos, who's in Costa Rica. So, all right, let's bring Carlos in, and he can brag a little bit about how beautiful his life is down in Costa Rica there. Carlos, how are you?
Hey, very happy to be here.
How you doing, Carlos?
I'm amazing, man. Really, really happy to be here. The vibe in the live stream is super cool. Question, is there a way for me to like chat with the folks watching this, or no, there's no way?
I'm not sure if you see the same comments tab that I see. Separate from the private chat, there's a comments tab. Do you guys see that or no?
I see it, yeah.
You see it?
Yeah.
So anyone who's watching, wherever they're watching from, they'll be able to chat with us here, whether it's from YouTube, maybe Twitter. I think Twitter might be able to do it as well, but certainly YouTube. If someone's watching on YouTube, you can drop a comment and we can chat with you there. So again, say hi to us. Let us know where you're joining us from. We're down to 7. I think we pissed off somebody, but you know what? We didn't need them anyway. These are the 7 that count. All right, Carlos. Carlos, give us a little, give us your elevator pitch about who you are and how you got into the space.
Sure thing. So I started as a project manager in Web2, building projects for enterprises like Toyota, for instance. So I was focused in within like the marketplaces type projects. So when back in like what is it like the end of beginning 2021, like the whole Twitter was like sorry, I'm just trying to read this chat. I think it's the
That was
comments
me.
one. So you guys just posted something from YouTube, right?
Yeah, I just posted a message
Yeah.
saying, "Where are you joining us from?"
Cool. So yeah, I was like engaged with in a lot of marketplaces projects, and so I was trying to land a project within Web3, and so I met the founder of a Web3 tech startup that's called Fair, FAYRE.com, and the founder. His name is Luis. He's another Latino. So like I guess he saw me and he wanted to support my career and whatnot. So
Nice.
he gave me a chance. To act as a project specialist, like whatever market research needs to be done, and like being the one keeping those Asana tickets updated. So I guess the elevator pitch of who I am is just a very adaptable and like I guess like workaholic type project manager.
Well,
But
I
like
think that's a good skill to have, a good trait to have in this industry, right? Because it's ever changing, like by the day, right? Some things are out, some things are in, and you just got to keep up with it. So it's good that you are as active as you are, so long as you're taking care of your mental health and all your necessities there.
man, a good comment on that point. I struggle. I don't know how you guys handle your stress levels. Will be interesting. Like, how do you guys don't like? I mean, I have tendinitis, for instance. I go and get a deep tissue massage twice
Okay.
a week. Like, how do you
Yeah.
guys?
The physical side is interesting. I've recently my career has changed just a bit where I'm working from home now for my full-time job, which is in the hotel industry. And so I have a little, I'm not commuting anymore, so that's great. I get like 2 hours of my life back each day. So I'm really into the Peloton. That's sort of my thing right now. And I think mentally, Miguel and I always joke that this is like a full-time job, although it's not our full-time jobs at all. And it's hard to turn this off, right? Miguel and I are always thinking about this and texting each other throughout the day. Even when we know the other one's not available, we're just trying to, shoot things off. So it's hard to turn off thinking about the NFT space, the possibilities. What do we do with our project, right? We're still really the little guys, right? We haven't even had like 100 people mint our NFT yet, but we're here doing this anyway because we love it. So this is a passion project. And yeah, it's just hard to turn off our brains of thinking about Rebel Ants and just the NFT space. Miguel, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think the same thing. It's sometimes I'm at work and I'm thinking about this stuff too, all day long. It's just ideas that come up in my head. There's times where I'm like texting Kevin, like, hey, I just thought about this, just walking through my office. You know what I mean? Like, what do you think about it? So we're always going back and forth. But as far as like de-stressing, I think that for me, it's mostly in the art, right? So like, we had Jessica a while ago in our podcast talking about art therapy, and I think she hit a good point where it comes to art therapy, because I feel like every time I'm drawing or I'm doing some sort of art, I'm like in the zone somewhere else where it decompresses me. You know what I mean? So that's how I kind of decompress when it comes to that mental health.
That's cool, man. I'm gonna take that tip. I'm gonna try, because I struggle a lot, and I shouldn't. I think this is like, I feel like you guys are really good at like managing stress and anxiety. I think like I've been really good at putting in the hours of work, but not really good in terms of like listening to my body. And now it's so I have to.
You definitely have to listen to your body. It's important. You have to give it some rest, or at least decompress it. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah, and that you're probably in a little different situation where we're doing this on the side, right? I think for you, this is your full-time job, right? Of doing this stuff. So you probably have a little more writing on it, but yeah, if you take care of yourself, you'll definitely realize that you're performing better and just kind of happier. And I think that translates into all the other facets of your life. So
yeah, man, I feel like you guys are so happy, so cool, so nice.
It's
Yeah.
very a lot of years of practice. A lot of years of practice.
Yeah. And Carlos, you're not alone, right? Because our last two guests mentioned the same thing about mental health challenges and how to balance that, right? We had Alyssa Stevens on, who's an artist. We had Jessica from Wonder Mundo, who is an artist, and she shared the same thing. So I think we could all learn more about that and be better about that.
That's great. That's really good to hear. Actually, I want to do something fun for this one. Like, I don't know who is online. I wish I could know, but like if everyone can send us like a one in the chat or something, like a way to know that you're listening to this stuff, because I want to give away one of my NFTs, if that's okay.
Oh, nice. Yeah, of course.
Nice.
So I'll drop a message here too saying, say hi if you're listening. We do have a message from Nuben Gear, who is a regular of ours. So thanks for dropping in. He says, sup guys, tuning in on the road, driving from Jersey back home to Rhode Island. So
Cool.
Drive safely. And as I think I've shared in the past, I went to college in Rhode Island. I think I've been back once in the last 20 years. It's not my favorite state to go to. So
Nice.
hope you're having a good time. We've got Lindsay who says hi. Thanks, Lindsay,
Cool.
for joining us as always as well. And there's 8 others of you watching, so feel free to drop a note here. Oh, we've got Latin Knight saying hi. We've got Steve Case listening from Seattle. Seattle is my kind of place, right? It's the hometown of Pearl Jam. I was a big Mariners fan once upon a time. Ken Griffey Jr. for president. I had a Griffey for president poster on my wall.
Don't make me bring up the tattoo.
Oh yeah, I do have a Pearl Jam tattoo as well, so no regrets there.
Good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Movement. If we get to 10 people listening consistently by the very end, I'll just give away one of my pieces.
We're at 11 right now.
Yeah.
Good.
Well,
Alrighty.
Carlos, you bring up a good point, because I forgot to mention that at the beginning that at some point during the show we're going to drop our secret code so that people can drop the secret code into the website of rebelants.io/proof, which is sort of our proof of attendance workaround instead of doing it on the blockchain. So whoever drops their wallet address in there, you'll know how to send somebody a free NFT. So even more incentive. And we've got Always Blessed saying hi. Happy to have you there. Thank you.
Nice.
So, Carlos, let me ask you a question, because I was scrolling through your Twitter feed looking for some hot takes that I could call you out on. And I think I saw like a giant gap in your Twitter activity. I think it was going like 2021, 2022, and then like before that was like 2016. So were you not into Twitter until it became like part of your job? What's the story there?
That's such a good question. Mostly, I came back to Twitter because I started to hear in the news that Elon was going to get it. So like, before Twitter, I was all about LinkedIn. So like how I landed my job, like, all right, here we go. Escaping the Costa Rica job market, like we are so, as a third world country, we're so underpaid, like everyone that I know, unless you have like a VP type, like job at
Position.
a big position in a big bank, which still like they get 10K, like that's nothing compared to like what you would make in Canada and the US, whatever.
Right.
So I owe so much to LinkedIn, like allowing me to understand that there is in the whole world there are opportunities. So I never focused on Twitter at all, because for me it was like a fun type things, and I needed to be with the formal, the serious folks. So I spent a lot of my time on LinkedIn. I mean, I got it to 10,000 followers.
Nice.
I was doing a lot of work on that LinkedIn stuff. But then when Elon was like messing around buying Twitter, I was like, okay, like it just makes sense, because I don't know what's going to happen next. I just feel like he's going to change the game. So it feels like the right place to be now.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think so too. I think he's very big on changing a lot of the formats on Twitter. And I think that he's trying to make it into a platform for more of a video, more, he's trying to compete with the big guys like YouTube, Instagram. So, and I think Twitter has the member base, but it's not there yet. So, we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting to see in another year or so what it looks like.
Agreed. He has so many ideas, and like Elon, he's been to China so many times, and they have this X app where you can pay and you have your passport
Right.
and your ID.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like if he is, if he brings like a blockchain stellar team, they're gonna make something amazing. So
I think so.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you. So we've talked a lot about Web3. So for the people that are watching or listening in on a podcast, for example, that can't really see us, what is Web3 to you?
Biggest dislocation of wealth in human history.
There you go.
Very well put.
Yeah, and as long as we're patient, and it's like you said, Kevin, at the beginning, like the wild west situation that we have still right now, unfortunately, but like, it's part of the process. So I'm thinking people say it became almost a meme to say like, yeah, in the bear is when the builders come on the front lines and they build the amazing products, and what happened really is just like, there are no builders, and if there's builders, it's like 10 companies, and like they're backed by some other companies, whatever. So like it's being slow, but then something like Dookie Dash, you guys familiar with it? Of course.
Yeah.
So like this dynamic of making this fun viral video game that, I mean, it reminds you to like Flappy Bird. It's a very specific mechanic, and there's just one leaderboard and just one prize. You get the secret key. No one knows what unlocks.
Right.
So people be hating on the gamer community, be hating on Web3 because we're a bunch of sellouts. We're just looking for money. But now a bunch of the like famous gamers, like now like tweeting and doing streams playing Dookie Dash. So like, I just feel like we're so close, another year maybe of like this thing being weird. And I don't know why, guys, but I feel like Elon is gonna do something with Web3 too. So what was the question? My bad.
What is Web3 to you? But I think
what is
yeah, I mean, if you're listening and you felt like you didn't fit with society because you liked anime, video games, or like you just didn't like the goddamn system, I feel like this is an opportunity for us to find freedom. Like Ethereum, for instance, like most of the things that Vitalik say when he is talking about the project from a like philosophical perspective, he just wants to live in a neo type civilization. So like, sounds so crazy to say, but like it's possible. So, and the assets are growing, so I feel like it's a chance for us to reclaim our freedom.
Yeah, so Web3 is more of an open source platform, right? So think about Web2 as of now. Like we use the internet now, and it's owned by like Google. It's owned by pretty much, all these entities. So Web3 is basically owned by us, right? If I'm know that correctly.
100%.
So I think that
that's the essence of it.
Yeah, so I think that Web3 it's going to be a game changer. Obviously, it's going to take a lot of time for us to get there because right now we're in the building stage. But then again, it's like crypto. We're still in the beginning stage of crypto. Like even though it's been a whole bunch of years that Bitcoin's been out, but there's still a lot of people out there that don't understand what crypto is or what Bitcoin is, right? Or what a token is. Like millions of people out there.
The majority.
And for us, the majority, yeah.
We're so small, man. Like when you think big, like for instance, when you compare the S&P 500 with the crypto market, we're like the way I picture this stuff is like we're all in this building with all of these floors, and then this huge markets own all of the top floors, and then crypto we're like underneath everything, the basement, and a tiny small like dungeon like bar / discotheque.
Yeah.
So
it's funny because I remember when I was hearing about the market and crypto being in the trillions, I'm here thinking to myself, like, we're still like 1% of what's really out there, like in the real market.
Yeah.
Well, not the real market because crypto is the real market, but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
It's just 1%. That's it. Can you imagine that?
And I think Twitter is probably the biggest social media gathering of crypto enthusiasts, and it's interesting how small Twitter really is. If you look at the list of users by social media, Twitter is not even in the top 10, I don't think, right? We involve ourselves so much in Twitter day to day, like probably us three and some of the people listening, that we think it's such a big world, but it's so small compared to the bigger players out there, by tenfolds in some cases. So I think as Twitter grows, like you're saying, if Elon's doing something to help grow the platform, it just kind of helps people come into the space as well, and kind of shed a light on what the Web3 space has to offer. And honestly, even within the Web3 space, the percentage of NFT enthusiasts is like even smaller than that, right? So I think NFTs within the Web3 space still has a long, long way to go.
One of the reasons why I have tendonitis on my neck is because it's hard for me to sleep, because it's, if you meditate on the truth that it's so goddamn early.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane how early we are. And so, like, for instance, you remember when like Facebook was trending, and like you were on social media, Facebook, whatever, and it was trending to be a startup founder. Like, it was a boom. Like now Web3 or AI, the Chat GPT, those are the buzzwords. Back in the day, it was like startup founder, like
Yeah.
VC, and like it was trending. It was the cool thing to start your own tech company. So when you, in Web2, if you're trying to raise money and you're pitching to raise money, and then you tell them that you're going to onboard the masses onto your product, it's a laughable statement. It's so stupid for you to say that. That's not an answer. No one cares if you're going to onboard the masses with your product. But in Web3, if you're in a meeting, if you're in a podcast, and like we all hear someone saying that we're going to onboard the masses, we kind of roll with it. Like,
it's more possible now.
For me, that's the way. It's kind of like the check mark to know that we're extremely early.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I think a lot of our terminology scares people, right? Because people are like, well, what is an NFT? What is crypto? And, at the end of the day, it's sort of like the way email was, right? Email was a very difficult process back in the day before you had an email address wrapped around logging into gmail.com. And now it's not even second nature. It's like first nature, right? We don't question how the email gets sent. It just works, and because of a protocol. And that's not very unlike what we talk about on our day-to-day with crypto and the NFT space, right? And I've been hearing this example the last few days of listening to a bunch of Twitter spaces, but people saying, when you listen to a music file, you don't say, oh, let me listen to this MP3 file. We don't talk about the file as the format of the file. We just talk about it as a music file. And that's the way art will be. And, these digital assets we have, we're not going to talk about it as an NFT. It's just a piece of art, or it's just a digital asset of a collectible. So I think eventually that terminology will change in our day-to-day speak, but that's where we're heading, I think.
100%. On adaptability and like the masses being onboarded onto a technology. I don't remember who says this. I think it was on a book, like the Third Door or something, but like it was illegal by the lawyer companies. I don't know what's the word in English, but like it was illegal for you to send any type of documentation through the interweb, because nobody knew what was happening in this dark box.
Yeah.
So like all of the paperwork for these lawyers was like through the mail.
Yeah, that's funny. So
I'm curious to know.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. I'm curious to know, like, for example, being in Costa Rica, like, how do you see the the community for NFTs building there? You know what I mean? Like, how is it growing? It's a big, it's a small.
It's growing. However, it's just really strange because I don't know where to look for in Costa Rica. I tried to use my Twitter or my Instagram skills and do some research in terms of like who is doing some NFTs Web3 projects, but like it just feels like it's 10 people. It just feels like you don't hear people talking while waiting for the bus or like taking an Uber. You just don't hear these things, unfortunately.
Yeah. And what's the solution in your eyes? Is it just hosting events in real life and hoping people show up, or how do you build that momentum?
Oh my God. The only thing that comes to mind is that, my God, that one's hard for me. I'm not so good in like building in real life things, man. So for me, it's sad. I feel like, for instance, yesterday was the approval of the integration between ChatGPT and Zapier. Like that is some crazy shit. Like,
Yeah.
you know how much automation you can program with Zapier by itself, and now you have
Yeah.
ChatGPT with it. Like, game changer. So, but the thing is, I'm reading these blogs. We are on the fence of like tech, and I feel like I have three friends who work in tech, and I am the one who's like sending them, hey man, this just pop out here. Like I share with them. But it just feels like we're not ready,
Interesting.
unfortunately.
Yeah. So let's talk about AI. Where do you see AI going from here? I mean, what's happening now in the last, 3 months, the way that's just kind of exploded in discussion and opportunity, it's insane what you can do with it now. Where is it going, and how does that impact the Web3 space, you think?
Jesus. I mean, the starters, the at my job at Bueno, me being able to see all of the up and coming new projects,
Right.
like at least 35% of those were AI created,
Wow.
AI generated art.
Wow.
And these are like 12-year-olds, they go into mid journey.
Yeah.
I want to have a samurai, robotic looking warrior, whatever, print 300. And those 300 assets are the one who are deployed, the ones being deployed in a blockchain. And
Crazy.
then they sold all of these things. And like, they don't have to tell anyone that this art is AI created. This is just
Right.
art.
Yeah.
So I've been having a lot of conversations with different founders and friends, and I get different perspectives. Like, I hear that the commodity is going to be the people in between. And by that, I mean, you have a high level copywriter, you have your average copywriter, and you have your cheap Upwork, Fiverr copywriter. These guys in the middle, they're gone. The
Mm,
guys on top, they're gonna be better because they can do more output in a
right.
shorter amount of time. And the guys at the bottom, apparently they're gonna be making more money or they get more contracts. I don't know, man. And then some other people say that humans are gonna become just creators, like we're gonna pursue all artistic endeavors, and then Elon goes to a big meeting and then he just tells us to have, what is it, like a basic salary per family or something, like so many, so
Yeah.
I feel like we're all gonna be connected to like a one centralized type matrix situation. That's how I feel. I mean, am I wrong? Maybe. I don't know, man. I mean, what do you guys feel like?
Well, I think you bring up a good point about the upper, middle, and lower, tiers of those creators, because I've seen that firsthand from like a website creator or developer stance. Like, I've looked on Upwork, and you have these people in mostly third world countries willing to make websites for really, really cheap. And it's hard for a company with a limited budget to say no to that. You don't really necessarily care about, like, is this the most perfect behind the scenes website? If it's just, hey, I need a website and I don't want to spend a lot of money, those people at the bottom are going to grab that, right? And then you have the top tier where it's like the big companies who want a really polished, perfect running site, focus on SEO. They're the ones who are going to keep focusing on that as the experts, right? And I think you're right that middle class just kind of drops out because they won't do the work for dirt cheap, but they're not big enough to be the experts in that space. So that would be an unfortunate situation, but I could see that happening with AI as well, right? Because maybe we don't all get to use the same tools over time, right? Maybe ChatGPT does become more and more gated, right? They just introduced a paid plan, and so maybe there's more features at the higher paying plan, and somebody with the wealth can do it. And it's clear that there's also people who are better at understanding the prompts and teaching ChatGPT or Midjourney to put out the right thing that they're looking for. And I think that will be a skill all of its own in the relative short term,
Dude,
like this week even.
Dude, that's a good point. I mean, I was celebrating the fact that now it's paid. The ChatGPT, you have to pay to have access. But I didn't consider the fact that, I mean, what if I don't have the money? So
Yeah.
like I'm just like a less valuable professional.
You might be left out. And right
You
now
might
it's
be
in
left
beta.
out,
Yeah, it's in beta. So maybe that's why it's free for us. And, they say it's kind of, I don't know, throttled, right? It's throttled if you're on the free plan, but maybe that free plan goes away once they're like, all right, this is legit and working. So who knows where that goes?
Well, I think too that didn't Microsoft buy a portion for ChatGPT?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they're integrating that.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw like a $10 million investment or something crazy.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see. I mean, I had a different opinion when it comes to AI a while ago until we had Jessica on our podcast, right? Like she brought up a good point, and she said, "What about the people that for example, can draw but have that feeling and mentality that they really want to do it, right? And they can't, and then they use AI to kind of get their feelings across that way. So that's important too. Like or people that are injured and can't really draw or whatever the case might be, but at some point they were artists or whatever, or she really I think that AI, it's important, and I think it'll be a part of everything at some point, right? I think it all depends on who's using it and how they're using it. Some people are gonna, it's like everything else, man, they're gonna use it to be malicious, and then there's people that are gonna use it to do really great things, you know what I mean? So I guess we just gotta wait and see. But my first initial mentality of when it comes to AI was that I kept telling Kevin, like, I really hate AI because it's taken like the emotion away from an art piece, right? Because when you're drawing something, you're putting your feeling and your heart into it, right? And that was what I thought, that until she spoke about it and said what she said, and then it kind of opened my eyes, like, God, you know what? That's true. Like someone who, for example, doesn't have hands or arms or whatever, how are they gonna express their feelings if they want to be an artist? Maybe AI can help that. So in that sense, I think that it's a great platform.
Me too.
But when it comes to everything else, I think that there's going to be people that are going to be using it maliciously to make money, make a quick buck, or whatever the case might be. Like you're saying, for example, there's artists out there that are going through like a platform like Bueno, just creating AI art and putting it through and selling it and making a quick buck and leaving. There's no feeling there.
A few quick bucks. Like they're doing good, man. I agree. Hey, yeah, for real. The thing is, I mean, if it's okay with you all, I wanna get from you your vision in terms of like how does that look long term, 10 years down the line, like automating all of these jobs, like SEO, like that's something that's being automated incredibly with ChatGPT, and we're just starting, right? So are you guys afraid that we're gonna lose a bunch of jobs? I know. I heard Gary Vee say, "Hey, this happened already in history. Once we lose a bunch of jobs, a bunch of new jobs are created." So, like, where are we going?
This is my opinion on it, right? So I kind of side with him. I kind of side with Gary a little bit because I think it's every time, if you look at histories, every time there's an innovation, right? People are always afraid to say like, oh, that took some jobs away or whatever the case might be. But if you really look at the reality of it, there's still different jobs that come up, right? Maybe it's something new that someone didn't think about before, but there's always like that. It's kind of a balance 50-50. Like you take one, you add one, right? So I think jobs will always be there. I don't think that they're going to completely go away. But I do think that there are people out there that are going to be a little lazier, right? They're not going to do as much as they used to when it comes to like, whatever it is that they're doing that has an AI or whatever the case might be. But there will be jobs behind that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say, as someone who spent the last 18 years of their life working in a hotel. I can tell you that as I introduce small automations into my day-to-day process, just even with Zapier, like I use Zapier at work, or just some other things that Microsoft has, whatever it is, those automations, that's using AI in a very small sense. And that freedom of not having to do that task allows me to focus on other things that only I can do as a human, right? Like only I can walk around my hotel and talk to my employees. If I was stuck at my desk doing work all day because I had to run reports or, do the things that the automation is doing, I wouldn't be able to do that. So I think in one end, it kind of frees you up to do more important things that only a human could do. And I think that's valuable. And on the other end, I think about the example you just gave with SEO. It's like, all right, everyone's, not everyone, there's a whole world out there of SEO experts. Well, if you freed them up to not have to do SEO, what else could they work on, right? What's the next level of that? If SEO was one step along the way of getting us to the next step of evolution of whatever that business is, like AI just jumps us 10 steps, and that's a good thing, right? So we're all better off for it, I think, in that regard. So
Cool.
I'm not afraid of it. I think it has practical purposes, in many different industries.
So is this a consensus that AI is all positive?
There's going to be some downside, right? But yeah, I think overall it'll be good, and there's no way it doesn't like advance society, right? Like it just has to.
Yeah, I agree. It's just that my dad is the one who has me worried because
why is that?
well, he's just like super worried that we're going to live in a dystopian type reality 30 years, 50 years down the line, and I'm just like, I don't want that negativity in my day-to-day, right? But like it also gets me thinking because I joined the whole metaverse movement after watching Ready Player One. But I mean, in Ready Player One, I mean, one of the biggest things is that, we're all living trailers. Like that's we're all connected. Like the metaverse is real. We get paid through tokens, whatever. But it just feels like there's a big difference between the people with money and your normal folk.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that. And, hopefully Web3 helps level that out, right? And maybe that's how cryptocurrency has been. It's allowing more people, like you said, to have ownership of those assets. Maybe the NFT space welcomes more people in, just like we've seen with NFT artists, right? The people that Miguel and I have interviewed have had most of their success come from the Web3 space, right? That's how a lot of them make a living. So that's amazing that this is a new thing for them, that with just in the last 2 years, they've been able to drop entire careers and just say, this is what I'm doing because I love it and it works. So I wish that for everyone. I wish that for Miguel and I, right? we keep saying like, if only we could do Rebel Ants full time, like imagine what that would look like. So I think there's a good future out there for those of us who are early in the space now.
I agree. I mean, that's why I'm here. I feel like we're in a growing type niche, but when I talk to my dad, he's very old and very worried. So
yeah,
it gets me thinking.
I get it. I had a conversation with my father about AI, and he's like, but how did the information get in there? And it's like, all right, I think we need to explain a little bit more how this works if someone's really interested.
Good question.
Before we go any further, let's drop our secret code. So our secret code for this episode is Carlos. So head over to rebelants.io/proof, drop in the word Carlos. And if you are one of the first 3 people to do that within the 24 hours of the show airing, you will get a free airdrop of a Rebel Ant and whatever Carlos wants to share with you. So we invite you to head over there, rebelants.io/proof. And the secret code is Carlos. That is the last time you're going to see it. Good luck to our 10 viewers or anyone else who listens after. Wow. All right, Carlos, I want to talk about how you transitioned from Web 2 into Web 3. Like, what made you qualified to get hired by that company you mentioned before, Fair, I think it was, and then moving into Bueno, and then where you are now? Like, who said you're good enough to be Web 3?
That's so good. I feel like we've gone, I'm not sure if it was COVID, but I feel like overall the job market went through a transition where, if you can show good intentions and like work ethic and that you have experience and
right.
willingness to work and research and make mistakes, I feel like overall the founders or company owners, they are willing to give you a chance as long as you approach and you knock on doors. So I feel like my biggest thing is to try out new things. So again, repeating, LinkedIn literally changed my life. So I am very keen to send out 150 connection requests to a very specific type of niche or
Yeah.
industry, and then jumping on 20 calls a week, and then
Wow.
ask specific questions. And then I feel like you can train yourself by talking to people that are already in the space. So that's exactly what I did. I wanted to jump from Web 2 to Web 3 in 90 days. So the whole plan was to jump on at least one call a day with someone who was already working in this space, and for me to get as much information as possible so that when I was in the interview, I could sound like I knew what I was talking about.
That's a really cool strategy. Tell us more about that. What does that message look like? You message like a cold message to someone saying what?
Exactly. So, man, I really hope somebody listening can use this. But I feel like this audience is already well put together. I wish I could see you guys, but yeah. So, alrighty, this is your scrappy dirt work type strategy. So, you go onto the LinkedIn search bar. If you want to go to Web3, then you're gonna search for hashtag blockchain or hashtag Web3, hashtag NFTs. And so LinkedIn is essentially a huge database that you can filter by any specific type of query, keyword, whatever.
Right.
So currently, if you do it, you're gonna get, I don't know, man, like 30 plus thousand contacts over there. And then you can connect with at least like, I think the top of connection requests you can send as today is like 150 a week or something.
Wow. I didn't know there was a limit.
Oh,
Wow.
there is one. Yeah. So, and you go through it really fast if you're like in a hurry. So yeah, that's exactly what I did. So I searched for blockchain Web3 NFTs and plus 50,000 different people. And I went through each one of them with the same message template, which is essentially their name, like Kevin, exclamation mark. Can you leverage extra hands in product/project management? Question mark. I am looking for work and I thought I'd reach out. Happy face.
So cool.
Send 2,000 times, whatever. Um, and people start to like message you. Some others won't. Some others will give you a chance to jump on a virtual coffee, whatever. Some of them get flattered because they get some attention. So like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, let me give you some advice. I want to pick your brain, whatever. Um, so, and then they start to say things like, I don't know, network effect. So, okay, let me go Google what's a network effect, And so, and just being able to reach out to everyone as much as possible. But like, I mean, if you find a company like Exclusible, who's like very famous in Web3, Exclusible, you can literally connect with everybody in the company, and like
Wow.
if you connect with everybody in the company but the C-level managers, then once you connect with the C-level managers, you already did the homework. So like it just looks like you know so much about their business, and they just can't, you can be like unseen, it's like
Right.
they get like, they're almost on shock, like, hey, wait a second, how do you know like next quarter we're gonna build a new CRM? Like what? Like what? And oh yeah, by the way, I have CRM ideas. I did a market research. Here's a little bit of like a comparison of two different CRMs, whatever. So things like that, just like be very scrappy. Like, you want to get into Web3, dude, talk to people in the space. Like, I know it's weird, it's kind of weird to just be sending like cold messages to like everyone that you don't know. Feels spammy, feels weird, but it works.
Yeah.
And, so that's the way.
Is that how
So
you
cool.
landed
Everything.
working for Bueno?
Yeah, man. That's how I landed everything. Like every job since I escaped Costa Rica's job market, it's been through connecting, like, and the way I do it now is like, I want to jump into very specific space, like Web3 in this case. I choose 5 companies and I connect with everybody in those companies. And I try to speak at least to 3 people within the company before talking to the human resources people and C-level managers. So like when I get to them, I already built my toolbox. So I know what to say, what they're looking for, what they need. So I just basically, like craft a pitch of who I am based on that.
So cool. I love this. Like you said, the scrappiness. We've got comment from Lindsay. Really great questions and conversation tonight. I agree. I'm like soaking in everything Carlos is saying. Like, oh wow, I guess it does work, right? Just like you said, it might feel spammy, but it's working. And I'm curious, like, how does your job, any of the jobs you've had in the Web3 space, how does that translate to your community in Costa Rica? Whether it's your family or your father, you said, who's much older, like this must be a very foreign concept. So how do you translate what you do to other people?
Really strange. And to be honest, I still haven't found a way, my friend. So,
yeah,
this is sad news. When you tell me, hey, Carlos, how are you bringing in the Costa Rican dudes onto Web3? I'm like, dude, I don't know. I just feel like this is a long-term type thing. So like, I want to get my career to a better place and a better place and a better place. And like to get them to come to me so that I don't sell them NFTs or Web3. They are already looking for it, like thirsty for it. And I can just like tell them 3 tips so that they can join.
Point them in the right direction, right?
Yeah. But yeah, man, no impact within my own country, unfortunately. Not yet. Coming soon, I guess.
Yeah.
What do you think it's some of the biggest like companies out there using Web3 as far as like NFTs and stuff like that?
Yeah, big brands, for instance. I mean, the whole Porch NFT era was a whole fiasco.
Yep.
And to know that we have incredible talent like Diego Borges, who's like one of the best like metaverse, like strategic type of thought leader. It's really worrisome, but we have fiascos like that, but then we also have successes like, I forgot what the brand was, but like the one, like the guys who made a golden skateboard. What brand was that? You guys know?
The golden skateboard.
No. It was a golden, yeah, like it was a whole collection. If you Google golden skateboard,
you're doing it right now. Azuki?
Yeah, these guys. So, we have strategies like that, like doing something unheard of. And to answer the question, I feel like this is a very still in the definition type phase. I feel like we're still in the discovery phase. Like we don't really know what the scope of this thing is. So all of these different NFT projects that we've seen, those are all experiments. So, some things hit, some things break, most of them break. So I feel like what brands are doing, what Web3 and NFT is really doing for big brands and big companies is just to give them an incentive to do internal projects and experiments. That if you think long term, this is good for company culture. So that's the way I see it. If you're Coca-Cola and then there's a new industry, it's easier for the chief of marketing to come up with a project, and get some budget for it, and then put together an in-house team and then make a project out of that. Who could be a whole failure, but like, let's be honest, man. Like these corporations at the end of every year, they are looking for ways to spend that budget. They have to spend that budget. So like, you might as well spend it with an experiment that could impact the company culture. So that's how I see it. Like more like beyond the NFT concept, Web3, how can you impact your brand or your corporation in-house by giving them people the freedom to leverage their creativity into a new, hot thing.
Yeah. I think you're right. It's like it's sort of like a double-edged sword, in the Web3 space, where we want to look at those companies who have these failed launches and be like, what were you thinking? But we want companies to innovate, right? We want people to try things. So I think it's important for the community to not be too harsh and dissuade people from wanting to try it out, right? We don't want the entire Web3 community, we don't want people trying to take advantage of us, right? But we we do want growth within the space, and we want innovation within the space. And like you said, those companies that have big budgets, like big budgets, like that might be where we see that next round of innovation or that adoption. So I think it is a slippery slide to get it right, and it's probably harder to get it right than it is to get it wrong, I think, at this point.
I agree, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm working with a big corporation in Canada. TELUS, you guys know TELUS? It's like AT&T, but
okay.
Canadian. So they were closing last year's year. They were closing last year, whatever. Fuck, man. My English, you know.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah. So they approached the company that I'm working for right now, and they told them, like, we have $100,000 that we need to spend. Do you have anything in mind? That was the request. And I'm in the call, and I'm like, oh my God. Coming from Web3, like all of my friends scrapping for money, like hustling, trying to build community and marketing plans, whatever. And this guy is just like, hey, take my money. Do you have any idea?
Yeah.
Tell us what to do. So my founder ended up pitching a whole idea of a virtual bear who you can put on the storefronts of the stores. And if you wave at it, it will wave at you back. And they said yes to that. You know,
Okay.
It's
interesting.
That's it, man. So yes, we need more corporations to do experiments in Web3. This is not a Web3. This is just a fucking bear waving at people.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like we're getting closer to that reality more and more, where this Web3 little experiments projects can be something that if you're a big corporation or a big brand and you have budget left for marketing, you might as well use it for something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. The companies that your company, you work for Polyform, right? That's the name of the company?
Yes, sir.
Is it mostly outbound that you guys are reaching out to other companies, or are people coming to you with Web3 projects and you have to bring it to life?
Yeah. The founder of Polyform, Adam, he's just really good at what he does. Like, Polyform is an award-winning creative agency. So we are doing zero outbound, zero outreach.
Wow.
Like,
wow.
I'm just hanging out on Slack, and they're like, and he posts on the general channel, hey guys, I don't know, Pepsi reached out through LinkedIn. They want to have a new sexy thing on their offices, whatever. Are we interested? And I'm just like, mind blown. So if you go to the website, you'll see they work with Artifact. We have a stellar Web3 portfolio. But the thing is, these designers are incredibly talented. So,
right.
And there's currently more money in Web2 than in Web3. So,
sure.
So Polyform is definitely interested in whatever brings in the big bucks. But yeah, everything is what was the word?
Like inbound, Ben.
Inbound.
Yeah. And of those companies, are you seeing anything like they're saying, hey, we want to execute something like this? And you're like, oh, that's cool. Like, we haven't heard of that before. Without giving away any names, are there any sort of, whether it's utility or functionality that you're like, oh, that's something new. Like, that's a cool thought.
To be honest, no, man.
No.
And that's one of the things that worry me. Very honestly, that's one of the other reasons why I have tendinitis, is because I'm looking in Twitter. I'm connected. I'm trying to pay attention. Like, anyone who's listening right now, are you guys reading, hearing, like, for real, sexy, innovative ideas in Web3? Something unheard of, something never seen before?
Dookie Dash, I don't know.
Well, yeah, you have a Dookie Dash, that's a home run.
Yeah.
The answer is no, man. Like, we need and the fact is that most of the crazy guys are in Web2 still. We need to bring in more people, man.
Yeah.
I think they're still in Web2 because they're making a lot of money in Web2.
Right.
So they don't want to jump ship yet.
That's a real audience. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what me and Kevin are doing now. We're just jumping into the unknown. Just trying to get something built and done. And somebody will, and once we build our base and platform, I'm sure someone will come along and say, oh, look what this guy did. We could do it better. You know what I mean? And then it'll continue to grow.
Yes, sir. Exactly. That's the current way of doing things. Like, like, but we're still waiting for that Apple product. We're still
Right.
waiting for that, groundbreaking company. And the answer is no, man. Nothing that's being inbound to Polyform or inbound to Bueno or outbound from Bueno. It's been innovative breakthrough type scenarios.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is the truth, my friends.
I can tell you that what I really like about Bueno is that they have that no code mentality, and that's there's a lot of artists out there that are like, oh my god, we could do this, through them, and it's this easy to do, So I think that's important too. I think that's what he's trying to convey. Like Pablo's I feel like he's trying to make it easier for everybody to kind of jump into that platform.
100%. That's 100% true. What's worrisome about that is just like, well, for how long are this like NFT collections gonna be something? Are we gonna morph into something different?
Yeah.
Is it gonna be like all cross-functional chain? And I don't know, man. It's ever changing.
Very unknown future, right? Like we said, even day to day, week to week, and we can point at your PFP up on the screen here, this Ute, and say, okay, they jump ship off of off of Solana, right? So how quickly does that sink Solana, and then you move on to something else, right? So let's go back to the Utes. Like, how did you learn about Utes? What made you want to get one of those? And then how do you feel about some of the recent changes happening from the DeGods?
Yep. Utes. So are you guys familiar with masterminds?
Like groups?
Business masterminds, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to pay a fee to access a private Facebook group.
Yeah, we actually talked about that being a quote-unquote utility of Revelance, is that we want to find like-minded people like us. And one of the benefits of being a holder would be that you'd have access to a mastermind group. We need more than like the 15 holders that we have, but we'll get there one day.
That's so cool. Hey, man, if you have 15 holders, but you have 10 people listening, you're doing great.
That's right. That's good conversion.
I've been part of so many NFT drops, and everything's minted, but then you don't know who they are.
Yeah.
You have nothing. You just... Okay, so Utes is essentially, I have to say, community. I hate to use the word community now because it's overused, man. So, but yeah, it's a community, man. It's a fucking squad. It's a gang. Everyone is fucking crazy over there. Like, not worried about deploying something and being it like a whole mistake or failure. So, and truthfully, man, I just wanted to support these guys, and be part of this community. But I mean, it's not like you get the doors open of heaven and then like, hey guys, we're a family now. No, like they are not gonna reach out to you. You have to build your own things. Like we have dudes building youth gyms and like,
wow,
like it's super fun. So the thing is, they're really strong community, man. So when I joined Utes and I posted about it, my tweet got 5,000 views.
Nice.
And like I don't even remember how many followers. And like I have friends now from Utes, and it just feels like they are at the front of everything that's happening in Web3. I don't know how. I don't know where they're getting this information. And I jump into Twitter space and I try my best to like know everything that's going on. I try. I mean, I don't live this house, dude. And if I leave this house, it's to go to have lunch with my mom or something, or dinner with my girlfriend. But like, it just feels like they are creating Web3.
Wow.
To be honest, I don't know what it's like to be in a Twitter space with Moonbirds. I'm assuming it's kind of the best, the same. But yeah, the Frank and Kevin, the CEOs of Youth, it just feels like they are reading 100 books a day. And I don't know. Oh.
Yeah, I hear Frank often on Spaces in the morning. I don't remember the one I listened to at first, but the Daily Dose one, hosted by Ryan Carson. Frank's on there a lot, and I think maybe Kevin too. And it's so interesting to hear almost like the confidence in his voice, just saying like, yeah, we're doing this thing because this is obviously the right move, and like it's working, obviously. And it's impressive. It's impressive what they're doing.
I don't know how this fucker is able to like have so much information,
Yeah.
because I mean, I don't know, what is he not sleeping? Is he like, does he have, like a thread in Reddit that I don't know about? Like,
Yeah.
I just don't know what they're doing, man. Like, so just being around the Twitter space, it's incredibly valuable for my career, and like all of us in here, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I've learned so much from that.
so yeah, for me, Utes, I paid them $1,500 for that fucking JPEG.
There you
But
go.
but every time I jump into a Twitter space, even though it's free, I just need to give them back. So
Right.
I did it, and I'm very proud of it, man. Like, I never knew, as a gamer, I never knew what it was that I was going to be able to feel proud because of my PFP. So there you go. They did that.
That's the power of a PFP,
Yeah.
right? That's cool.
That's where we want to be one day.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I keep telling Kevin, like, for us, the important thing is to showcase what we're doing, right? To showcase the artists. Like, and I keep mentioning this on every podcast. Like, the important thing to us is to make sure that we give the artists a platform so that the community's able to see like the reality behind it. I think that's what's important to me, at least. Like, we're not worried about the sales. We're not worried about anything else. What we're worried about is building and creating a platform, right? That's what we're worried about.
I agree, man.
But
it's
it's
long term.
Yeah, it's cool to see when you have a one owner that jumps into your open sea there, and I text Kevin, I'm like, dude, we got one more owner.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, I think for us the most important thing is just creating the platform and getting the ideas out. Like, I've been doing stuff that, and I'm sure Kevin is the same thing. Like, we've been doing stuff that we never thought that we would be doing. Like,
Definitely.
right now, and I'll talk about it on air now, but I just learned yesterday how to create a token. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of things going on that we never thought that we would actually like do or learn.
Yeah.
Right. So the more that this evolves, the more that we learn. And that's what's important, I think. And then the more that we can teach and let people know out there, like, hey, this is what we're doing. You could do it too. Like, hey man, just jump in and get it done. But it does take a lot of time.
I agree. Insatiable curiosity.
Yes. That's who we are.
100%.
Yeah.
Man, okay, I want to give away this NFT, and there's just one way to get it. You're listening. I want to ask you the name of the first Web3 company that I worked for. Put it on the chat, and I will personally send you one of my best NFTs.
Oh
That's
man.
cool. Thank you for that. I just posted the question in YouTube as well. So let's see if anyone remembers or responds. I hope they do.
Me too.
And while we're waiting for people to answer, and Carlos, if you're okay to keep going past the hour mark that we said, because I feel like there's still many things for us to talk about. What other projects that you're a part of or that you've seen that you're like, oh, that's cool. Like they're doing something different. Maybe it's not life-changing, but they're doing something different. What else is impressing you?
Steve, nice try, but that was not the first one. Nice try. That was the second one. So, I mean, truthfully, at this point, if you want to be a collector or if you want to be a builder, so first have that clarity, because if you want to be a collector and you want to make money off of NFTs 20 years down the line, then you need to go with historically correct NFTs. Now that's
Sure.
the thing now,
Yeah, that's right.
CryptoPunks. No one in here is gonna buy CryptoPunks tomorrow, but you get the point.
Yeah.
But if you want to be a builder, then I mean, what you guys are doing is valuable. What the guys at Utes are doing is valuable. The thing is, so I know I'm the one like almost crying, hey, we don't have the Apple of Web3. We still don't have it. Like, we need a hero, whatever. But at the same time, the teams onboarding 10 people, 2 people a day, 10 people a week, or like you guys, hey, let's celebrate. We just got a new owner.
Yeah.
So like this small incremental changes. So like I'm not able to mention specific people if you want to be a builder right now, but like just I feel like it's an effort of all of us with like a grain of sand type
Yeah.
approach. Like
Love it.
incremental, a slow, steady incremental impact. Fryer. Oh, that's close. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah, that was
Oh,
close.
that's super.
Wow.
I don't know. Moving
That
gears,
is
pretty
so
close.
close.
Pretty
Wow.
close.
I got nervous. This NFT that I want to give away, I have an emotional connection to it. So
Oh, well, Carlos, he might be driving. Maybe we can give him like some leniency for like a spelling error if he's driving while trying to type.
try again. Try again.
Try again. There you go. That's funny. And so, what other projects do you hold that you're like that? Maybe what was your PFP before this one that you were like, oh yeah, this is like what I was rocking for a while.
Well, I mean, the Bueno team gave me a bunch of different NFTs, you know. So
Oh,
like,
that's how you do it. We need that, Miguel. We got to get on the team so we can get some free. So we can get some free Robatos.
yeah, guys.
I have enough Robatos right now.
Oh, you have?
Thanks to you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've got
pets.
I've got 3 Robatos and 1 pet. I think so.
Nice.
I think I have 3 and 3. 3 pets, 3 Robatos.
Good.
Or maybe 4. Yeah. And I think yesterday I text Kevin and I ended up getting 2 of the new the what is the line called? I forget. His new guys.
Oh, the humankind.
Yesterday. The humankind.
Humans. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Well, PFPs to be proud of. Yeah, man. I mean, I'll go with the teams that are building different products. So like get your Robotas.
Yeah.
Start there. I mean, those are what, $100, 100 USD. So
they're probably as cheap as they've ever been now. Maybe they're like
I just don't want to mention
09.
So like the reason why I'm not telling you, hey, you know, I used to have X, Y, and Z is because I don't want anyone here. Oh, Carlos said.
Yeah, fair enough.
Oh, crashes. It's my fault. That's the worst.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. Miguel and I are big fans of Bueno for many reasons. Not only, like he said, they're helping onboard people from the no-code space. I think Miguel appreciates it from an art perspective. I stumbled upon Robatos and Pablo from watching his streams about building the website in Webflow, which is my preferred platform of choice. So like, it's just cool to see it all converge. And then I end up watching hours of him sketching the Robatos in Figma, just watching him design them in real time. And so I think that's where my like emotional connection comes into the Robatos, is like, that's what really got me into NFTs. And so, is the artwork as detailed as a Ute or a Bored Ape or something? No, but it's that emotional connection. And that's what we're hoping to build with other people, is that maybe people watch enough hours of Miguel and I doing this every week is like, oh yeah, they want to support us and they have an emotional connection to who we are and what we're doing. And maybe they feel like a rebel themselves.
For sure. This ants of yours, these are in Ethereum, right?
Ethereum,
Yes.
yeah.
Cool. All right. Okay, man. I need to mint my.
Well, we appreciate that. No pressure.
Guys, I don't want to be an asshole, but I do have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. So, Carlos, our question to you is: what is your lasting message to our audience? What message do you want to make sure you get across to our audience before we shut this down?
Yeah. Don't give up, my friends. Don't give up. And by that, I mean, if you are not getting the job, don't even worry about it. Hundreds of thousands of other dudes or girls are also not getting the job. Like very few Web3 companies are thriving right now. And the ones that are thriving is because they're extremely good at what they do, extremely sophisticated teams. So don't blame yourself if you're not getting an offer, if you're not getting invited to a project or whatever. Just like stay in the lane and ride the wave. Like it's gonna take a long ass time for this thing to be mainstream. Like in my country, Costa Rica, this is still super unheard of. And even though like I tried to listen, I tried to find for people in this space, it's just not happening. So chill the fuck up. Don't blame yourself. It's not your fault. It's not like you're not good enough, like you don't have the skills. It's just like it's extremely hard. So if you want to join the space, stay in the game, listen to the podcast, pay attention to the new collections, have patience. And if you are not afraid to reach out to people on LinkedIn, just be a spammer like I was.
That's great
Good
advice.
advice.
Yeah, love it. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, Carlos. Appreciate you letting us go over a little bit too. It's been awesome talking to you. We will have to get you back on again soon because I feel like
Steve,
we kept
it
talking.
was fair, not flyer, not air flyers, fair.com. All right.
Yeah.
Close. Next time I'm here, we'll do it again.
Yeah, we'll do it again. Cool. All right, Carlos, thank you so much. Have an amazing night. Good luck to you and everything you got going on. Miguel, have a good night to you and a good night to our 6 rebels who are still with us.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Definitely. Have a good night, Carlos. Take care, man.
Yes.
Good night, guys. We'll see you later. All right, Miguel, have a good night. I'll talk to you later.
Take care, man.
Bye.
Bye.